bit to get through in today's podcast because I haven't been here a few days. Actually landed myself with a cold. I actually know who I got this cold from. It was someone I was having a conversation with, and then boom, ended up getting a cold. Okay, let's get to it. Now, just to clarify, can everyone hear me right about okay? I'm speaking with a slightly more hushed tone because today is Nyempi in Bali, which is a festival that, or not festival, a day of observation that takes part every single year, and everybody is indoors, lights off. I've literally got 2 candles burning right now, and it's just a day to reflect. And the day before, Nyempi had the ogo ceremonies, and you can actually go to my community tab post and you can see the pictures if you want to see the pictures from my first ogo. So it's a very interesting culture, but I'm just a little bit more hushed today because I don't want to make too much noise. Like literally, it's lights off across the island. It's so silent. You can actually see the stars. So just trying to be like quiet in the house. But you can all hear me relatively okay, yes? Just to make sure. Gosh, I've actually got so much to get through today. Oh, this is the problem when I don't do a podcast like each and every single day. Stuff just pops off. Anyway, the good news is that we're gonna have a long podcast then. Hey Sharon, hey Mina, hey Lady, hey Hidley, Caroline, hey Gak. Okay, so let's start with, yes, so there was an announcement from As Ever that a new product was coming. And we now have Visuals. So, Meghan did a collaboration with a florist called High Camp Supply. They are a luxury floral brand based in San Francisco that specializes in fresh cut gardenias. And you can get from them this gorgeous set which has like tea, florals, and honey. I love that she's collaborating with brands like this. It just shows thoughtfulness, intention. Because this isn't, I don't even think this brand, you could probably get it in all 50 states, maybe just states like close by, like surrounding states. And she posted this beautiful picture of her and Lily's hands together. So cute, the sweet little ways that she inserts her children while still respecting their privacy. And just, you know, like for me personally as a fan, I don't expect anything from Harry and Meghan regarding their children. I wouldn't care if we didn't see these kids until they were adults, but I do appreciate the moments that they do share like this in a way that still protects their children, of course. Um so yeah, this lovely new collection or addition to the As Ever collection as it grows. And it just really shows intention that Meghan's not just rushing to, get into every major big retailer. Everything is being very carefully curated, the imagery, the products, the ingredients. And we saw 2 pictures of Lily. Well, there was also video because Meghan has been posting stories, so make sure that you're following her so that you can get the stories. And it was Lily running around. Lily, who is getting taller and has dark ginger hair. I think Lily probably looks like a. I think she looks like Harry, but she's got like little parts of Meghan's features. But I feel like she'll look more like Harry because she's got that like Diana. Okay, so beautiful pictures. Loving seeing that. Also, Meghan posted on her stories a clip of her reading a book. And the book is by an author, who's I've actually snipped off her name. I'm so sorry. But the book is called They Bloom Because of You. So she's a British author. Oh, that's annoying. I had her name. Hang on a sec, folks. What an amazing moment for this author who likely wasn't expecting it. She's apparently a mother herself. Oops, that's not... Ah, none of my screenshots have her name. That's... Okay, let me search it. They Bloom Because of You. So Meghan posted this on her stories. And this book has now by Jessica Ehrlich. Right? So this book has now gone to #1 in the UK, US, and Australia. If you want to get a #1 book on any of these charts, I'm telling you now, my experience with Amazon, you have to be selling anywhere from 300 to 400 books a day. Not just to get that number to #1, but also to keep in that position. That's how much you're going to be selling. And it's become an instant bestseller. And Meghan actually, Jessica wrote a note and also posted a video saying, I can't believe this. And Meghan responded, she said, let me just grab it. I think she said, from one mum to another. Where is it now? See if I can find it. Oh yes. So Megan wrote, my mum friend Christina shared the book with her, my current bedside book, from one mama to another, thank you. And then Jessica responded by saying, I can't believe I am typing this, but thank you. I'm honoured beyond words and so deeply grateful that my book has touched you and hopefully many more mums too. I just cannot say what that means to me. And straight to number one it goes. This is the influence. So you know what? We don't need to worry about BS from people like Variety. I just find it insane that they continue to come up with the most rubbish narratives spun out of thin air, literally spun out of thin air. And for what? So you can sell your sinking tabloids? Who other than Oprah at this point, and maybe not even Oprah these days, has the power to make a book an instant bestseller like this just because they posted it on Instagram? Very few celebrities. Not anybody that I can think of right now, to be honest, other than Meghan. I mean, there's some celebrities, maybe they'd sell out clothes, maybe they'd sell out makeup or a shoe. But Meghan was selling out books, we were selling out the furniture from the Oprah interview. My gosh. Sold out jeans, had to create a whole new factory, that company that happened to. I mean, I'm going to get to that Variety article, but nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Well done to this author. What a lovely moment for her. I bet she absolutely was not expecting this at all. Alright, yes, Dorothy, we are going to get on to Piers Morgan. Now, just a warning, there may be swearing and profanities in this next part. I don't know what the censors are going to do to me, but hopefully they don't flag my video too much. Indeed, Piers Morgan got a taste of his own medicine. And I'm going to call it that because that's exactly what it was, a taste of his own medicine. I cannot believe the number of people on Twitter who are defending Piers Morgan over this clip that I'm about to show you and saying that the other idiot went too far. Now, if you don't know who this utter nobody is, that means you're probably not an incel. This is a guy called H Tiki Toki. He's basically just one of these internet provocateurs, says rage bait stuff. He's a misogynist. He was also part of Louis Theroux's documentary on the Manosphere, which is this like woman hating group, which started in internet fringes and now has become mainstream, like Andrew Tate and such. So of course Piers Morgan likes to platform scum, because we could be platforming good men who have good things to say, but no, Piers Morgan's not going to do that. He's going to platform scum. He platformed this scumbag, and now people are saying that, you know, people are actually defending Piers because of what this H Tikitoki, whatever his name is, says. And I'm going to play it to you in a moment. But I just want to say, before I play Piers Morgan getting embarrassed, the culture that media provocateurs like Piers Morgan have created over the last decade gave birth to people like H Tikitoki. Piers Morgan is arguing on this show with his own creation. So I don't want to hear that H Tikitoki took it too far, that he went after Piers Morgan's wife. The attitude that Piers Morgan carries, the rhetoric that he uses, the way he bullies people, this because I have a mouth and I can open it, I can say whatever I want without responsibility kind of fringe media culture, is people like Piers Morgan that help to create it and promote it. And now that another clown, because let me just say that both of these individuals are equally yoked. Now that another clown brought that energy to Piers Morgan's show. He chose to platform him, by the way. He could have platformed a much nicer man, like I said, but he chose to platform this idiot. And now Piers Morgan can't take it. You got to understand that people like H Tiki right? There is no low that they won't go to. This is a guy, again, internet misogynist. He hires OnlyFans models to make content for him and takes a cut of their money, and then turns around and says that OnlyFans models are disgusting while he's making millions from hiring OnlyFans models and taking a cut of their money. Like, this is what we're dealing with, right? So, right, guys, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna play this audio, but I need to just blow out one of my candles because I think the candle's going a bit wild in the tub. So 1 sec. All right, so let's play this.
But I'm curious why you don't think disowning a child for being gay is homophobic.
What I do with my children is up to me. What I do with my children is up to me.
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
I don't agree with you going to Epstein's Island and having freak-offs with Ghislaine Maxwell and the rest of them. But I don't need to bring it up because this is about misogyny and everything like this.
Harrison,
okay?
Harrison.
Now, he's calling him by his actual name, Harrison. HTikTok, like his internet handle. Now, I don't know if what Harrison will call him for now, if what he said is libelous. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, if it does, after this interview.
Harrison.
Okay, I don't agree with that,
just
sir.
To be clear,
freak-offs on the island.
Yes, nor do I. And as is a
Are you sure?
Fact,
are you sure?
Do you want to keep doing this? You'll make yourself look very stupid.
Are you sure, Piers?
That I've never been to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I'm 100% positive. I never met the man, never went to his island. I met Ghislaine Maxwell for 5 minutes at a book launch. If you've got any supplementary
mentioned a lot of times.
No
mentioned
problem.
a lot of times in there, sir.
I have no problem. You're not, I don't think, if I say this very respectfully, I don't think you're very well informed about things like that. Or you wouldn't go there because it's...
Why are you in the files?
Why don't you check the 27 references to me in the files?
Why are you in the files, sir? Very close to these types of people.
Go and check. And all your followers, you can. The great thing about the Epstein files, you can put somebody's name in, and you can
like
see
to compare me to Tate and Myron and everyone else. So,
Harrison,
because my name is close to them in the manosphere. But if I compare you to Epstein and Maxwell, you have a clear problem with it,
no problem.
Sir. You compare me to Myron and all the others in this misogynistic.
And you see, this is what you get for platforming an idiot. Like I said at the very beginning, before I started playing this piece of audio, people like Harrison, HTikTok, whatever he calls himself, he does not give a flying F, right? He's just happy to be on this platform, Piers Morgan's platform, and get clout and exposure. That's all he cares about. And I'm actually surprised that Piers, being in the industry as long as he's been, doesn't realize that. Doesn't realize that's the game he's playing. So he's brought this Harrison person on because he's been on this Louis Theroux documentary, and Piers wants to get clickbait for his channel, but Piers has now become the clickbait. This is a full-on Uno Reverso. Piers is already a pig in the mud, and now he's invited an even bigger pig in the mud to get muddier. It's going to get worse. Keep listening. And while you're listening, just keep in mind the way, of course, Piers Morgan has treated Prince Harry's wife all of these years. And watch how he gets triggered.
Misogynistic,
Harrison,
whatever world. I'm comparing you to Epstein then, because
Harrison,
you're in his files.
Harrison.
Exactly.
You're making yourself look an even bigger idiot than you did on the Netflix show.
Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
To people like you, sir, I don't mind that. You make yourself look like an idiot every single day when your wife is at home posting pictures that you're out and she wants to get used like a toy by a big black man who is cleaning her car. Is that why you have a problem with me? Is that why you're pushing this homophobic narrative? Because I'm the big black man that shagged your wife while you are on holiday. Okay? We can all have a push and a shove, sir. Let's go back to talking about the documentary and less of the homophobia.
Do you know what? Here's what I think about you. I watched the documentary. I think you're a fucking idiot. I think you're a sexist, misogynist, homophobic twerp who got exposed in a global way by Netflix, by Louis Theroux, for what you are. You're a little half-wit, and you'll make your little followers
don't get rattled.
have a little laugh and everything else. But I don't see any point wasting. There's no point me wasting my time talking to you. Is there? What's the point?
Exactly. No, do you know what? Let's chill it down then, because what I just said, there's 50 more things that we can have a stupid back and forth and try and one-up each other.
I don't
just
care
talk
about
to
your
me
silly
normally.
insults.
Talk to me normally. Talk to me normally.
I don't care about your silly insults.
But what do you mean you don't care? What do you mean you don't care? What I said is facts. I have a picture of it. I can flip it around and show you right now.
I couldn't care less about your silly little insults. It's like a 2-year-old. Why would I care?
A 2-year-old? A 2-year-old? Listen, sir, I don't know why you come on and you talk like you're holier than thou. As soon as you're away,
all right,
who's this? Applications are open.
All right, let's just
that's your ting, bro. That's your girl.
Let's end this, please.
Cooked.
You know what? I'm not doing this. Sorry, guys. It's pointless. But I'm curious why you don't think disowning a...
So what happened at the very end of the video, which you don't see, is this Harrison guy put a picture of Piers Morgan's wife to the screen. Now, I don't actually know exactly what the picture is meant to be illustrating, that Piers Morgan's wife is on some kind of like apps. He's claiming that, you know, apparently she sleeps around with other men. He's even claiming that he slept with her, which is quite a claim. But Piers Morgan then storms off because he doesn't like it. And the absolute audacity of Morgan to sit there and call himself a sexist and you're a misogynist and you're a homophobe and all of this, as if the way in which Piers talks day in and day out on his platform isn't exactly that. Absolutely ridiculous, getting a taste of his own medicine. And the funny thing is I do not like this HTikToky guy. He's part of the manosphere. I think they're all trash. But in a weird way, I think he's the only one that can actually stick it to Piers. Because here you've just got two. Piers is a narcissist, but he's not actually dumb. Whereas Harrison is a narcissist and dumb. And there's nothing that you can say to a narcissist who's also dumb. There's nothing that you can say to Harrison that he'll care about. All he cares about is clout. And he got it. And he made Piers Morgan storm off his own show. He's going to be bragging about that for years. One sec, folks. Ooh, sorry, I hope you didn't hear me sneeze. But yeah, he's going to be bragging about this for years. Got exactly what he deserved. I wish I could actually show you the video because it's even more hilarious, but I don't want to get hit by the copyright police, and I probably got hit by the censors for the swearing and that. So, Miss Levy, you said his wife is always lusting after men, after other men, not just her husband. Well, her husband is constantly lusting after Duchess Meghan. Electra, you said, I thought Piers was on crutches. Is he healed now? Yeah. Apparently he was meant to be in bed for like 6 weeks with a hip replacement or something. He probably just like was posting all those pictures and making it look more dramatic than it actually was. Ridiculous. Anyway, I had to share that so we could have a laugh at Piers Morgan finally put in his place and made an absolute fool out of by another fool. All right, let's get on to the other royals, shall we? Very interesting. Mother's Day in the UK came and went. And you know who didn't get a Mother's Day post online from her husband? Kate. And I think it's been quite a few years now. I don't think William has posted anything for Kate. They're not even trying to hide. It's just so obvious at this point. Anyway, William did post a rather sweet picture of himself and Diana when he was a youngin', and I believe this picture is unseen. I hate it when William tries to evoke Diana's memory after calling her paranoid. Anyway, this past Sunday was the UK's Mothering Sunday, aka Mother's Day. On Mother's Day here in America, it's quite common for men to post messages and send gifts, cards and flowers to the mothers they are closest to, wives, mothers and sisters. Well, Prince William made a point of only posting a photo of himself and his mother, Princess Diana, on the holiday. He did not publicly mention his wife and mother of his 3 children online whatsoever. He actually hasn't posted a Mother's Day message to Kate in several years. He didn't even post a message to her in 2024, which is when Kensington Palace posted that crazy edited image of Kate when she'd been missing for months. Well, please enjoy how the Daily Fail tried to justify William's cold shoulder for his wife. Kate lets Diana take the spotlight. Princess skips Mother's Day after emotional cancer message in Photoshop furor. Oh, is that how they're spinning it? Sorry, folks, just had to sneeze. So, Princess of Wales opted not to post a Mother's Day message. Well, she's not the one who is supposed to post a message. She's the mother. She's the one who should be honoured and praised on Mother's Day. Exactly. This is not a difficult concept to grasp. William is the one who should have posted a message to Kate, not Kate posting a message honouring herself on Mother's Day. Only the ugliest, most hateful men will repeatedly refuse to wish their baby mothers a happy Mother's Day, much less their current wife. Also, notice that Kate wasn't even allowed to post a message about her mother. Very interesting, right? What a mess. Did the crisis manager take the week off or something? Yeah, Liza Ravencroft is on holiday. It's interesting because I noticed that Karen Middleton and the Middletons were like at Ascot. So it's like, and also the Christmas Carol thing. So it's like they're around. Very fishy, no? Ruth, you said, what goes around comes around. Piers Morgan. Morgan got what he deserved. I saw this morning. I don't care about the other guy. I'm happy Piers got his match. Indeed. And it's literally his match. The way Piers is acting so brand new, acting so offended, you're literally talking to yourself in the mirror, mate. You are talking to a version of yourself. What are you so offended by? You're offended by the person you choose to be every single day. And now that it got thrown in your face, you ain't got nothing to say? Do you just walk off? Yes, pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, William also doesn't post on Kate's birthday. Isn't that weird? And then when we do get posts like for Father's Day, for example, I think that they post old photos. Okay. Next thing. So the state visit, Charles going over to visit Trump, is still on. I think it's an absolute it's going to be an absolute disaster. I think it's tone deaf for many reasons. It's tone deaf given the conversation around Andrew and his involvement with Epstein. I think it's incredibly tone deaf because, quite frankly, America has more important issues to deal with. and don't need a silly distraction like the king from the UK going to visit their orange monster president. I don't think this trip serves any real purpose whatsoever. I think if anything, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Charles will go there, and the palace and the British media will try and spin some kind of fake win. Oh, Charles managed to convince Trump to do this one thing. Charles is a statesman. That's all this is about. It's not about anything useful at all. So, I can't believe that even government couldn't stop this trip. What do you even say? So, Charles' state visit to the US next month is still happening despite everything. Oh, and actually, before I read this article, I just want you to listen to what this police officer from the Met said regarding the Andrew investigation. Have a listen to this. Once it comes up on the screen, here we go.
What are you looking for? Of course, there's a big body of that evidence is in the United States, in all those files, and at some stage we're going to need the unredacted evidence. We need the original copy, and where did it come from? And that's going to be necessary if we get to the stage of court cases. What are you looking for? Of course, there's a big body of that evidence is in the United States, in all those files, and at some stage we're going to need the unredacted evidence. We need the original copy, and where did it come from? And that's going to be necessary if we get to the stage of court cases.
I'm actually wondering if the purpose of Charles going is to make sure that Andrew doesn't get further pulled into this, doesn't get extradited, and that whatever evidence about Andrew is in those files doesn't get unredacted. Mind you, there's already plenty public anyway. But they're trying to avoid a situation where Andrew gets extradited for any reason. Granted, it's already very difficult to do it now, but I think they want to double make sure. I mean, half the reason they launched the whole war was to distract us from these darn files, so wouldn't surprise me if that's the primary reason why Charles is going, because there's no reason for him to go. Anyway, let's get to the article. So, mind you, Charles is looking more and more tired. He's still being treated. So, adding to the exhaustion by going on a trip, why? But it seems like his treatments are keeping him stable enough. But Charles's appearance is very worrying. Like, he looks weak, tired, and exhausted, and his hands are even more unusually swollen. So, Tom Sykes, who is William's sometimes mouthpiece, noted in his Substack that Charles and Camilla are supposed to travel next month, and for months they've been back and forth between Downing Street and Washington about whether to go ahead, and whether Donald Trump should be rewarded with the visit given Trump's lunatic behavior in general, and specifically towards the UK and Keir Starmer. Exactly. Especially since the UK has decided we're not going to get involved in this war. So why is the King of the United Kingdom going to the US? So any delay, according to Sykes, in formally announcing the trip has much more to do with Charles' health and whether he is fully capable of undertaking it. Well, I'm not sure about that. I think the delay in confirming the state visit is more about Trump's behaviour. In any case, the palace is definitely briefing that they plan on moving forward with the visit. So the king will apparently be met with a show of American military when he arrives for a 3-day visit to the US, with a special relationship at a low ebb. The trip, which has been 6 months in the planning, has involved a race to the US by a team of Charles's closest aides and other officials. And this will go ahead despite tensions between Trump and the UK Prime Minister. Charles is just going to spend a day in DC where he will do engagements and address Congress. Again, why does a British king need to address Congress? Congress has better things to deal with right now. I hope smart congressmen and women don't show up for this nonsense, the way the British public aren't showing up for any royal engagements. He will spend another day in New York and make a third stop to a rural location, which is yet to be confirmed. The monarch is expected to make a fourth trip at a country with ties to Britain, possibly Bermuda. President Trump's team is understood to have concluded that they cannot match British pomp and ceremony, but will instead seek to impress the King and Queen with a display of US military might when they arrive in DC. Oh, of course. Got no money to take the homeless off the streets, but we've got money for, military might, pomp and pageantry. So the royals are apparently going to be accompanied by Yvette Cooper, who is our foreign secretary. And she will represent the government. And Trump has repeatedly described our current UK Prime Minister as no Winston Churchill, because he's been angered by Starmer's refusal to allow the US to use UK bases for its initial offensive. This has nothing to do with us. Say what you want about Keir Starmer, and I actually have a lot to say about him because I believe he's been very disappointing. But with this one, I think he knew. And mind you, I don't believe that Keir Starmer is staying out of the war with Iran because of good morals or anything like that. I think he just understands that the general consensus from the British public is we do not want to be involved in this war. That'll be the end of his prime ministership, and it's already on a very tight rope. So, yeah. Again, I don't know what the point of this is or why it's going ahead. Waste of everybody's time. All I can imagine is that there'll be some, backdoor deals, some handshaking. I don't know. Maybe Charles will get some money from some of Trump's billionaire oligarch bro friends. Miss Levy, you say that the crisis manager for William is way in over her head. Indeed. Indeed. Wendy Lohman, I'm surprised that Starmer did not cancel the trip. The Orange Man could embarrass Charles since the UK isn't helping with the war. Do you know what? He may have even asked them to cancel the trip, but I think that Charles's ego and Trump's ego probably won over this one. That's what I think happened. I believe there was probably a notice sent from Downing Street to cancel this trip, but they want to go ahead with it. Yeah, I also believe that what's going on with the Andrew investigation could all just be window dressing. They're investigating nothing. Patricia, you said, poor Charles, not as popular as his mum, and he chased away the one son that has heart, and he's left with the homewrecker and the enraged son. Indeed. To be honest, I think that everything is playing out exactly the way it should. Because did this institution actually need saving? The palace and the monarchy have been exactly who they want to be. And it's really showed since Meghan came into the royal fold. So I think we need to put the whole thing about, Meghan could have helped and Charles got rid of Harry and Harry's the only son with heart. But I think we just need to put it to bed because honestly, I don't think this institution deserved to be saved. I don't think it did. Now, before we get on to the state banquet, let's have a bit of humour, shall we? William, William showed up to do some bike riding for this comic relief charity thing. Okay, charity, cool. I mean, I wish I had all the spare time to just, in the middle of the week, just go on like a tandem bike ride. This actually just shows you how little work William does. The fact that he's just able to let's just go random bike riding in the middle of the week. I mean, this is what, if you're gonna say that the royals work, I guess this is what they should be doing. Work with a small W more often. I mean, as Meghan's put them to work, because we know that they're in a constant one-sided battle with Harry and Meghan. So they have been out and about these last few weeks. Anyway, why am I bringing this up? Well, I'm going to play for you a little clip, and you can tell me what you think about what was said.
Your backside is a unique angle that I've not seen before. Your backside is a unique angle that I've not seen before.
A very, very interesting statement to make. A very interesting observation to make. And I will let you make of William's words what you want. You do with that information what you want. And that's all I'm going to say. On to the next thing. Did you know that Camilla got eyebrow tattoos at some point in the past year? Now, she gave a royal warrant to a facialist. Which facialist is this? Because if she's been working on Camilla, that warrant needs to be taken back. Apparently, this facialist swears up and down that she's been giving Camilla her best skincare, and that Camilla is a beautiful person with incredibly young skin. Apparently, she got her eyebrows tattooed at some point in the past year. How much did it cost? $1,800, and she'll have to get a top up in 8 to 10 months, which is another 1,000. So this is where your taxpayer money is going. Camilla's eyebrows and helicopter rides. Also, where else is that money going? Camilla's driveway, apparently. According to this article, Charles spent almost $3.75 million, so Camilla wouldn't have to share a driveway. Goodness forbid Camilla should have to share a driveway. While the entire royal media ecosystem obsessively stalks every single move made by Harry and Meghan, the current King of the United Kingdom is making very odd and secretive real estate moves to protect his wife, the side chick queen. Some history. When then Camilla Parker Bowles divorced Andrew Parker Bowles in the 1990s, she wanted to live somewhat close to Charles and his Highgrove estate. They found Ray Mill, which Camilla allegedly purchased with her divorce settlement from Andrew Parker Bowles. I never believed that. I think Charles purchased Ray Mill for Camilla, or at the very least, he helped her purchase it. Camilla has kept Ray Mill all this time. It's her sanctuary, and she stays there constantly to get away from Charles. In recent years, oh, Camilla. Truly, the history's best side chick. Camilla has had concerns about her neighbours and all security around Raymill. So Charles purchased the adjacent property. Despite the profound shame, this is from Richard Eden's column, by the way. Despite the profound shame that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has brought on the royal family, his older brother continues to provide him with free accommodation in Sandringham, as well as servants and the annual costs to cover his living. Charles, I learn, is even more generous with his wife. Newly published documents reveal that the monarch spent a staggering $3.7 million on buying the house next door to her country retreat. That's even more than what was previously thought, and the vast increase in the over 600,000 paid by the previous owner 8 years ago. The reason we know this is because Charles established a new company to buy the property. Land registry files disclose that it was bought last March by a company called Freezer Nominees Limited. See what they're doing, all this dodgy stuff with companies, tax dodging, probably stuff in tax havens as well. So basically, Charles and Camilla are already making big plans for their estates. Camilla is leaving Raymill to her daughter Lara and Lara's family, and Charles arranged to buy the neighbouring property at a vast sum, just so Camilla and her family wouldn't have to share a driveway or be bothered by a wedding venue next door. Using palace employees as directors on the real estate purchase seems to indicate that Old Mill was not purchased using private funds, but some hidden royal funds, like from the Duchy of Lancaster. Whenever we get a glimpse of how generous Charles has always been with Camilla and her family, it serves as a reminder of how cheap he's always been with his sons, especially Prince Harry. What Camilla wants, Camilla gets, I guess. Indeed. Absolutely horrid. Greedy, greedy people. And it's so true. So Charles will spend that money on Camilla so she can have an empty driveway, but he can't get security for his son and his biracial grandkids. Ridiculous. Anyway, the state banquet was this week, and you had a state banquet for Nigeria and state visit, and you had Charles out here talking about jollof rice and Afro beats. I mean, this is all they can think to talk about. As if Nigerian culture, African culture is not so much more multi-layered and colourful and wide-ranging. Yeah, I mean, I guess they want the oil, don't they? So they had to put a big old state banquet. I don't know much about Nigerian politics, but I do know that the current president there's mixed opinions about him. And if he's willing to, smile and grin next to Charles, well, definitely know that there's some dodgy dealings going on behind closed doors which aren't going to benefit the Nigerian people. Also, what's becoming more obvious with these state banquets is just how much people are over it. Back in the day when you had state banquets like this, people would literally line the streets. I remember those videos from my youth when the Queen Mother was still alive. The royals would come out dripping in diamonds. And there'd be crowds, not anymore. Absolutely empty streets, because what do you want to show up for? People enjoying an absolute feast off the back of your taxpayer money? Also, Kate was dressed in a Nigerian designer and a Tulu cocker. Oh gosh, sorry folks, I'm sneezing so much. I might have to wrap up the podcast real quick. No offense to this designer, but I don't like this look. It's giving air hostess. It's giving air hostess, and yeah, this is just not a good look, I don't think. I don't think the designer showcased their talents as best as they could with this look. Like, this is just, yeah, I don't even know what this is. This is actually one of Kate's worst looks I've seen in a while. And I don't usually bother commenting on Kate's clothes because I don't really care that much. It's the only thing the tabloids can really write about, but this was bad. And what was also interesting about the state visit, once again, look at this. You had Kate and William being forced to stand outside the tent. Now, can somebody explain what this is about? I mean, I guess it's meant to show ranking or whatever. But it looks rather odd. And just Kate and William right out there on the side. And Kate was in the carriage looking miserable. Oh my goodness. Imagine chasing that crown for this. And it can't be hidden anymore. And the royal rotarats will have you believe that it's Harry and Meghan that are getting a divorce, it's Harry and Meghan that are separated. A picture says 1,000 words. This is by Samir Hussein, by the way. Now, Samir Hussein is the photographer who famously caught Harry and Meghan in that Under My Umbrella Ella Ella photo. He's a brilliant photographer. He really manages to get the emotional moments of his subjects. And this is probably one of the most striking photos of Kate he's ever taken for all the wrong reasons. This is what it looks like when you know that you're living a lie. When the fairy tale is actually a nightmare. Alright, folks, I'm so sorry. I actually wanted this podcast to be longer. But I'm just going to wrap up with the Variety article commentary. It's a lie. It's all a lie. You probably heard about this. Now, what's interesting about the Variety article, I'm not going to read the whole thing because I just think it's a waste of time to even give this too much energy. But the whole crux of this article, if you haven't read it or you don't know what it's about, is basically Variety trying to convince us that Harry and Meghan are failing. And the way that they do it, they contradict themselves so much, using fake sources, manipulating people's words, coming up with words. Netflix, including the CEO, has made it very clear that they back Harry and Meghan 100%. And so why would Variety post an article like this? Well, a couple reasons. Number one, clickbait. Number two, who owns Variety? And I'm going to get into that in a sec. I'm going to play a TikTok video for you, which is very interesting. But I also believe they wrote this article because they were trying to prompt Harry and Meghan's people to say something. I think the whole purpose of this was to get a reaction from Harry and Meghan's people. Because we really don't know what's going on with Harry and Meghan and Netflix. We know they're working on things, but we other than I think one or two things that they bought the rights to, nobody really knows. And you know what? We don't need to know. We don't need to know until whatever it is that they're working on comes out. But the tabloids and even outlets like Variety, I mean, Variety is meant to be like a Hollywood insider, and even they don't seem to know anything. Right? And they feel like they should get access to everything. Now, Harry and Meghan's people pushed back and said that they absolutely are working on projects. And that is probably the most information that we've gotten in a long time. And I think in the end, that was the point of all of this. I think they just want to, even if it was just, yeah, Harry and Meghan are working on things, mind your business, which was basically the response. That's all they wanted. They just wanted confirmation or information about something. This is why I don't always get mad when Harry and Meghan don't respond to everything. Because it's just people trying to irritate them into saying something and getting a reaction. So, you know, Harry and Meghan are still in active development. There are multiple movies and TV projects currently in the works for Archer Productions. The partnership is solid with Netflix. And there are several titles in the pipeline. And everything is absolutely inaccurate in that Variety article. And Variety aren't stupid. They're literally a Hollywood outlet. They know that there are some projects, some of your favorite projects were in development maybe for 10 years before they came out. It's just the nature of Hollywood. But have a listen to this, and this may add some more context, because this is actually quite wild.
This 46-year-old owns almost all the entertainment media and you've never heard of him. Let me just scratch the surface. He owns Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and Deadline, so that's the big three entertainment news. He owns Billboard and the Billboard charts, Rolling Stone, WWD, Footwear News, IndieWire, Vibe. He also has a 20% stake in Vox Media, which owns all of these properties. Those are just publications. He also owns a bunch of experiences like the Golden Globes, the Country Music Awards, the American Music Awards, South by Southwest, the Billboard Music Awards, So You Think You Can Dance, and the Streaming Awards. He doesn't want you to know who he is, but that's what I'm here for. The first thing you need to know about Jay Penske is that he's a bigot and an asshole. He's the type of person who would be drunk in the parking lot of a Nantucket yacht club, urinate on a woman's boots, grab her, push her, and allegedly yelling, "You're not white enough" at the woman. Shortly after that 2012 incident, Penske bought Variety, apparently for the purpose of shutting down the story, and we didn't see his mugshots until earlier this year. He's also the type of person who would purchase a 100-year-old black church and displace his congregants so he can build a mega mansion. Clearly, people were upset about it, and he did it anyway. And now that he's recently divorced, he allegedly was engaging in pay-to-play for the Golden Globes. Apparently, he decided to pull out. This seems like fake news, but we'll never know because he owns all the publications responsible for covering that sort of thing. That wouldn't be the first time he pimped out the Golden Globes. As independent outlet Puck News reports, they were charging low six figures to try to have a dinner with the voters for the Golden Globes. You probably never heard of this because, again, Penske owns everything. You know you're corrupt when a publication you own runs this headline. And that's still not the end of all the Golden Globes drama. Penske just added a podcasting category to the Golden Globes, so now far-right podcasters might be able to get a shiny trophy. But you got people like Ben Shapiro doing a Times Square buyout to get an FYP for his nomination. But none of them were selected. They're crying foul even though no political podcast of any ideology made the top 6. Oh, and by the way, Jay Penske owns the metrics to even determine which podcasts were eligible. And if you're wondering where the DOJ is in this, they investigated for antitrust, and of course, Trump's DOJ approved it. Here's Penske's dad, Roger, billionaire racing tycoon, receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I know, what a snooze fest. As New York Times reports, Penske has the power to select the winners and losers in Hollywood. Hollywood saw that Ryan Coogler was going to get the rights to Sinners back in 25 years and lost their minds. So he immediately became public enemy number one in the industry. And that is the reason why Penske Media has been attacking Sinners. Pretending like 60 million opening weekend wasn't a big deal, and not even included on Rolling Stone's top 20 films of the year, despite the fact that it was critically acclaimed by both audiences and critics. I bet you can guess which movie made Variety's list, not once, but twice in the same article. That was a lot of information to pack into 3 minutes. I hope you have a happy new year. Enjoy the ball drop.
And there you have it. So you know what? Just all of these outlets, all of them, even the ones that pretend to be respectable, forget them all. Forget them all. And there you have it. You know, Meghan actually gave Variety an interview. I just say, you know what? You know, why even give these outlets any space? They need to write about Harry and Meghan more than Harry and Meghan need to liaise with them. And at this point, over and over again, Variety, The Cut, they're all proving they can't be trusted. None of them deserve access. None of them. So don't even bother. Yes, Wendy Loman explains a lot, right? This is why it's, you know what? They need to teach media literacy. We need to have like a website. I'm sure somebody must have made one or is making one. Probably wouldn't be too difficult to do it with AI. All of the media outlets, who owns what the political affiliations are, what their business affiliations are. Because there you go, right there. Thank you to the squaddy that sent me that. Or else I would have never known. Maybe I wouldn't have even looked into it. I would have just thought, oh, Variety at it again, like all of the tabloids. But there's so much more deeper. I mean, that guy's family member is out here in the Orange Man's house that he stole from the American people. That's who they're affiliated with. Oh, absolute rubbish. This is why independent media is so important. Anywho, I'm going to leave it there. I'm sorry. I actually did want this podcast to be longer. I'm so sorry. I've been sneezing. I've been trying to switch the sound off every time I sneeze. I hope you didn't hear me sneeze. Oh, gosh. Did not expect to get sick and get cold, but here we are. I'm glad I got to do this podcast with you. I'm probably not going to do my... Should I do my next podcast? It was just going to be like a really short podcast where I asked y'all's opinions about something. You know that I've been working on a candle line, and I'm always just like very careful about how I use my platform. And you know, a lot of you on the last time I had a podcast talking about working on my candle lines, some of you did actually give some funding to help like correct a mistake that was made. And I am still going to seek external investors, but that's a whole process that, you know, it's not going to be easy. It's very, very difficult to get funding, even for a small business. So I had considered, you know, should I open up the line and, you know, could I kind of like make some kind of like crowdfunding thing where if you wanted to help build the candle line and then, you know, get some candles or just donate to me getting some funding. But you know, I'm just always very careful with my platform. I know that you all are like very supportive, but I know that some people aren't necessarily happy when I do that. Granted, you know, it's only an ask, and anybody who doesn't want to is absolutely fine. But last time I did, people did come forward, and I like my heart was really full when you all did that. So I did consider asking if we could do some sort of fundraiser to get some of the startup funds. That's what the chat was kind of going to be about. But I think I might, we'll see how I feel. I might go and have some like herbal tea or something, and if I can get myself together, we can have that discussion in another podcast. But that was basically what it was going to be about. You all can leave your opinions on that and let me know what you think. But we can have that, discussion properly in the next podcast. All right, folks, I'm going to leave it there for now. This could have actually easily been a 2-hour podcast because I've been away for like so many days. There's still a lot more that I want to talk about, but I need to give it a rest. I need to go drink some medicine. And I don't think you'll want to hear me sneezing and sniffling. But fun to hang out with y'all anyway. All right, see you in the next one. Ciao.